What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Breakdown. Once again, doing Avatar the Last Airbender rewatch. Once again, guys, we have seen Avatar the Last Airbender multiple times. We're huge fans, one of my favorite shows. We're on to episode number 5 today, so guys, if you haven't seen this show already, just add this to your watch later list and just come watch and enjoy the spoilery fun, the spoilery goodness of this episode and all the other episodes that we're planning to do. So guys, if you have seen this, then come enjoy this with us. So here we go, Avatar the Last Airbender, episode 5. The King of Omashu.
The Earth Kingdom city of Omashu.
Looks epic.
We don't have cities like this in the South Pole.
They have buildings here that don't melt.
Well, let's go, snowfolks.
I never thought about that, like, earthbenders have the power to, like, create structures. I mean, waterbenders can too, but
Like only igloos.
only in certain areas.
Mustache? Oh, this is so itchy. How do you live in this stuff?
Great.
Technically,
She's got a point.
she ain't wrong.
Snappers, the big city awaits.
Plays the part well. This is the first time we saw an Earth Kingdom, actually, so I remember watching this and just being like, this is something new, something different.
You guys are gonna love
Completely different like style to it
The
too.
friendliest in the world.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you
The
think?
cabbage guy! I love him.
The first time we see the cabbage merchant.
Oh, my cabbages!
Little did we know.
Classic line.
Just keep smiling.
State your business.
My business is my business, young man, and none of yours. I gotta have a fight, bend you over my knee and tether your backside.
Well down, old timer. Just tell me who
She
you
threatened
are.
to like spank him.
Zoo, Pippin Paddleopsicopoulos the third, and these are my grandkids.
Hi, June Pippin Paddleopsicopoulos. Nice to meet you.
Good idea.
I love how Aang just plays the old man so accurately. That's why they're able to sneak by. But dude, how threatening was that? Immediately with the
know.
giant boulder over the head. That's cool.
This is the Omashu delivery system. Miles and miles of tubes and chutes. Earthbending brings the packages up,
That's so cool.
and gravity brings them down. But my friend Boomy found a better use for these chutes.
Yes.
Oh, Boomy.
Look around you. What do you see? Instead of seeing what they want you to see, you gotta open your brain to the possibilities. The world's greatest super slide. Boomy,
I mean, as a kid,
you're mad
that's what my mind would go. Iconic laugh.
One ride, then we're off to the North Pole. Airbenders are.
This guy's still trying to go do stuff. I forgot that was the reason why they came here.
I'm starting to have seconds.
You'll be going off to combat soon. It's important that you be prepared for anything.
I love when they do stuff like that, like little freeze frames, like
Yep.
so good.
Gives the show its own style.
Yeah, it's kind of like making fun.
Use your airbending. Yeah, good idea. That'll make us go even faster.
Dude, but how creative is that to like use earth bending in those ways? Like, I would have never thought of that. So I love how as we get introduced to new bending styles, it's like the creativity of them, you know?
Kind of reminds me of like Black Panther, how they find like so many ways to use the vibranium.
Part 2.
Their faces.
Yes. Boomy.
Even the theme is like dark, but like
What is your judgment, sire?
I love this.
Dude, his under eyes are worse than mine.
A feast.
Throw them a feast. I remember watching this and just being like, what the heck?
The people in my city have gotten fat from too many feasts. So I hope you like your chicken with no skin.
Thanks, but I don't eat meat.
How about you? I bet you like meat.
I'm from Kangaroo Island.
Oh, Kangaroo Island, eh? I hear that place is really hopping.
Sokka!
What? It was pretty funny.
That joke is right up his alley.
Well,
Okay, you caught me. I'm the Avatar. Doing my Avatar thing? You can't keep us here. Let us leave.
Yes, my favorite joke.
let us leave.
I use that on the daily,
This guy
right?
nuts.
For those that
All
don't
the
know.
The
time.
Avatar will face 3 deadly challenges. Take them to the refurbished chamber that was once bad.
I love the zaniness. Look at this. It's just mad zaniness. That's
This
cool.
is a prison cell? Get some rest, Dang. Looks like you'll need it for tomorrow. Sokka? Katara? Where are my friends?
The king will free them if you complete your challenges.
What do you think of my new outfit? I want your honest opinion. I'm waiting.
I guess it's fine.
Excellent. You passed the first test.
Really? I don't have time for your crazy games. Give me my friends back. We're leaving.
Oh, I thought you might refuse. So I will give your friend some special souvenirs. Also known as creeping crystal. It's a crystal that grows remarkably fast. By nightfall, your friends will be completely covered in it. I can stop it, but only if you cooperate.
That's like actually,
It's already creeping.
that's actually really sinister.
It seems I've lost my lunchbox key and I'm hungry. Ooh, there it is. Would you mind fetching it for me?
I love how he makes like a whole performance out of it.
That's so cool. I love this part. Like, because of his agility, his speed, his nimbleness.
Climbing the ladder. No one's thought of that before.
So there's been others. Look at this.
his
Oh my
face.
god, the animation. This is when I realized, like, this can actually be dangerous. Like, there's actual stakes here. That's cool. That's so awesome.
Yep.
There, enjoy your lunch. Doing great.
Yes. That would be something that happens to me.
He looks like a bucket of
Come
fries.
on, I'm ready for the next challenge.
His lab.
I actually thought he was a villain at first. I was like, I'll go with the guy with the sword. He's skinnier.
Yeah.
You're saying whoever I point to, that's the person I get to fight?
Choose wisely.
I choose you.
I would have never done that.
I actually thought about that.
He's the king for a reason.
Yeah, but I didn't see this coming.
Typical airbender tactic. Avoid and evade. I'd hope the Avatar would be less predictable.
That's the first time we hear any sort of like strategies based on bending styles.
Later, you'll have to strike back.
That's so cool. Smart. This is the first time we see an earthbender fight an airbender, which is only Aang, so
Right.
that I love the dynamics of like the bending.
Creative than that.
And he's really pushing him to his limits, to his wits, you know.
Did someone leave the windows open?
Because he's
It feels a
also
little drafty in here.
he's also a really creative
Hoping I'll
person.
catch a cold.
What?
He's also a really creative person. Like that's something great about.
Well,
Aang,
that's what he's trying to teach Aang, that he's gonna need to be, you know.
like thinking outside of the box.
Yeah. Which I think, that's why I think, I wouldn't say this is an underrated episode.
Get me from way over there.
Oh, he caused him now. I think this is kind of like an underrated episode because, like, when you first, that's cool. When you first, like, you're like, oh, we're gonna watch the King of Omashu episode, and you're like, but then when you actually watch it, you're like, oh, I forgot. It's really funny. It's really creative. It's got some interesting characters. You know, we see some really cool bending. So, yeah, it's one of those that's like, it's got some funny animation and cool animations too. That's awesome.
But I really like that part where it kind of like turned into quicksand because you can see like how they can like manipulate the different elements and stuff.
Yeah. And this is the first time we see bending taken to a whole other level. Like even with Aang, like, you know, obviously Bumi's a really powerful bender, but obviously so is Aang.
Like he makes like a whole like basically a mini tornado.
Because if you're up to this point, we haven't seen really powerful bending. I don't think. I mean,
Other than the Avatar state, but that's
right,
more like
right. I mean, individual.
right.
This is so cool.
Well done, Avatar. You fight with much fire in your heart.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's not fair. You said you would release my friends if I finish your tests.
Oh, but what's the point of tests if you don't learn anything? Oh,
Very
come
true.
on. Answer this one question, and I will set your friends free. What is my name?
When I first
How am I
saw
supposed
this,
to
I
know
was
his
like,
name?
what?
Think about the challenges. Maybe it's some kind of riddle.
I got it.
Yeah?
He's an earthbender, right? Rocky.
Flameo, sir. Flameo.
Keep trying, but that is a good backup.
I love Katara for just being so supportive.
To solve each test, I had to think differently than I usually would.
Yep.
I know his name.
The big reveal.
I solved the question the same way I solved the challenges. As you said a long time ago, I had to open my brain to the possibilities.
That laugh.
Yeah.
You're a mad genius.
Are reunited and it feels so good.
I love that. That's so cute.
Over here. Little help.
But I do have a reason. And you have a difficult task ahead. The world has changed in the 100 years you've been gone. It's the duty of the Avatar to restore balance to the world by defeating Fire Lord Ozai. You have much to learn. You must master the 4 elements and confront the Fire Lord. And when you do, I hope you will think like a mad genius.
Yep. Love it.
You'll need your friends to help you defeat the Fire Nation.
Thank you for your wisdom. But before we leave, I have a challenge for you.
I feel like that was a really important lesson for Aang to learn, especially this early on.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, sue the king?
For real. So that's episode 5, King of Omashu. Obviously, we meet Bumi. What I love about this episode, I kind of said it a little bit, is it is a bit underrated. Like, I always think, oh, man. But then I'm not, oh, man. I'm always kind of like, oh, this episode, okay. But then I forget how funny and how action-packed it is. And what I really like about it is kind of like there at the end, like, this episode may be silly. It may be kind of bonkers, but at the end, you get that seriousness of, you know, King Bumi giving him that wisdom to Aang of, like, he got real with him, and he said, look, man, we did all these things. We were being goofy because this is a lesson for you because of what's to come. And I like that as a friend who, obviously, he hasn't seen Aang in over 100 years. He's not like other people that are like, oh, where have you been? Like, you left us. He's like, hey, welcome back. Like, these are the things you're going to have to know, and this is how you're going to have to... I hope you have this mentality when you do the things that you need to do. So, I like that at the end it's still tied back up, you know, into a nice bow of like, hey, let me drop some realness on you, some knowledge, and tying it back to the main storyline, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I really love, like, seeing Aang being forced to think outside of the box, because I feel like that is one of his like more like strengths, is that he is very creative in the way that he bends, like even like the little air scooter that he does, and just like he's always like thinking on his like toes. So I really like seeing that, because I think like
he's free-spirited.
Yeah, but I think like it was very important for him to see like that, even though yes it like you can do that in a fun way, it's also important to remember and to use that like against your opponents when you're like in a serious battle and stuff. I mean, I feel like people aren't really used to fighting airbenders in this time because it's been 100 years.
Well, not
so
only
really use that to his advantage.
Not only that, but I think what Boomy said at the end is very well said by King Boomy, is that, you know, when you fight the Fire Lord, I hope you think like a mad genius, because it's gonna take that kind of creativity and will, free-spirited will, you know, to defeat someone as powerful. You know, sometimes when even though Aang is the Avatar, but you know, sometimes to take down a more powerful opponent, you have to think more critically, be more creative, and think outside the box. So,
especially since a lot of these soldiers have been like trained to fight their whole life, versus Aang, who was
trained to kill.
Right, yeah, versus Aang, who was raised by air nomads that are very like a very more like peaceful kind of culture, very like passive. Even though he's like a master of his craft, you know, kind of like what Boomy was saying, like, you're fighting like an airbender. I don't
think it's necessarily that. I think it's just more of like, hey, you need to be, don't forget to be creative, because obviously that's what Boomy's all about. But yeah, this episode introduces us to some very interesting, you know, characters. One being the Cabbage Merchant, which I still think is a character you can't forget. And we see more earthbending. I mean, it once again, every episode is just giving us a little bit more knowledge of this world, and I think we're getting it in good doses. So, episode 5, guys, we are on to episode number 6. We hope to see you guys there. So, until next time, guys, see ya.